Morning everyone, welcome back. Today is Friday the 2nd of Jan and a happy new year to you and yours. May 2026 be filled with prosperity, success, opportunity, many moments of laughter, love and so much adventure. Today, I of course need to clear up. We had an amazing Christmas. I hope you guys did too. And I've enjoyed having all of the decorations up. It's brought a lot of joyful nostalgia to the festive season for us. We had a good Christmas, and then in the same breath, we also got not the best news on Christmas. I'll touch on that a bit later. But for the moment, I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas and that you made amazing memories with your family and friends. I'm going to touch on my 2025 reflections. Someone is literally lifting up a car in front of our house. They're towing it. My goodness gracious. I just saw a car being raised up literally above our front fence, and I was like, what is going on here? Okay, someone's car is being towed. Okay, where was I? I'm going to be touching on 2025 reflections, what I had learned, what slips I had, what wins, what I need to work on, and all of the things that come with reflection. I am still in the pondering phase, not processing, but pondering phase of the intentions I'd like to set for 2026 and what my goals are for 2026. If I have any goals at this point in time, I'm not thinking about all of those things. I literally want to get into the year, settle into the year, and then look forward to what 2026 is going to bring. I am excited for 2026. I feel like it's going to be a good year. I feel like it's going to be a good year. I don't do New Year's resolutions anymore. I stopped doing that, I think, a few years ago. But I do definitely set intentions, and I'm pondering on those, and I will let you guys know in the next video. With regards to the reflections, I am going to start with my January 2025 posts that I posted on Instagram. I will pop it here on screen and talk about my 2025 ins and outs. I'm going to start with the outs. Living intentionally. Living unintentionally. Were there moments where I lived unintentionally? Unintentionally, 100%. For the most part, I did live intentionally, from the nutrients I consumed to my body movement to my mental and emotional health to my religious relationship with God, which I'll touch on a bit later. For the most part, I think yes, I did move intentionally and therefore did not move unintentionally, but there were moments where I moved unintentionally. And I think it's with the ebb and flow of life, having a slow morning when it wasn't planned, or going for a walk in our village that's not planned. Those are the unintentional things that I did. Yeah, there's quite a few, but there isn't any standout moments that I can say, oh, that was an unintentional thing that happened. There are many unintentional things that happen, of course, in everyone's life, but nothing stands out for me right now. The next one was tolerating any form of unkindness. This is something that I went into 2025 that I wouldn't say focused on, but more so made myself aware of and self-aware of. It was important for me to be kind to myself and to be kind to others and not have people be unkind to me. And looking back during 2025, there has been moments where people were unkind or said unkind things. And my approach to those things were either not engaging with those individuals or removing myself from the situation for sure. There are also a lot of things that I outgrew, and a lot of relationships I feel like I outgrew, and I moved away from the things that did not align with me in 2025. So there was a lot of things that I let go of, and some relationships I let go of in 2025 as well. I think that not tolerating unkindness was definitely something that I was aware of in 2025. And I feel like just reflecting on that point, there was something that I definitely was conscious of and paid attention to. And if it didn't feel right, if someone was unkind to me, or there was unkindness in the space I was in, it was not a space I wanted to be a part of. So I removed myself from the space. Ignoring red flag behaviors, I think, ties in with unkindness and unkind spaces and being in situations where people behave badly. Now, I'm not saying people can't have a slip. Everyone has a slip. Everyone has a bad day. We are human after all. I think what I mean by red flags is more if the same behavior on a continuous basis took place. If there was the same red flags coming up 4, 5 times, then yeah, no, I couldn't ignore it any longer. And so, and it's not just with other people, myself as well. Like if I was displaying any unkind or negative behaviors, it was something that I consciously wanted to be self-aware of and wanted to alter those behaviors and catch myself in those moments and be like, no, we can't be having this type of behavior. We need to be better. And so I think where that's concerned, there were moments that maybe slipped, and then there were moments that I would say, sure. So I think it's a 50-50 equilibrium when it comes to that point. Allowing others to overstep my boundaries. This one was another one that I was aware of. In the past, and this ties in with the next point that was part of 2025 out. People pleasing and having people overstep my boundaries was things that used to take place a lot in the past. Why? Not because I was incapable of standing up for myself, but more so, I never wanted to make people uncomfortable in a space or in a situation or in my company. It's not a nice feeling to have people feel uncomfortable or you uncomfortable or there's an awkwardness. So I would people please, and someone's comfortability was definitely high on my list when it comes to socializing. And more than often, what would happen in those moments is the person learned that they could overstep my boundaries and have red flag behaviors and be unkind to a certain degree. And in 2025, it was one of the things that I felt like I didn't want to go into 2025 like that. I didn't want to give people the okay to treat me negatively, whether it is transparent negativity, whether it is hidden negativity, whether it is undercover, what any form of negativity. It was not something that I think that I wanted to be around, number one, and number two, allow any longer. And I know for those individuals, it could have come as a shock because it's like, but it was fine all the other times and now it's not. And I can understand to a certain degree, but we are all grown-ups. And I think that if you want someone to be kind to you and treat you with respect and dignity, you should have the same kindness towards another. That is where I was at in 2025. I always treat people with dignity and respect and kindness. And if I was not receiving that in return, it was again not a space or place I wanted to be. So those are my 2025 outs, and I feel like there was a lot of self-awareness that took place in 2025 and a lot of behaviors for myself I caught myself in and had to make conscious choices of changing those behaviors and holding others accountable. And my ins of 2025 were 1 Corinthians 28 verse 9, and that, if you read the Bible verse, it is know and serve God. And that was one of my first 2025 ins, and was also one of my primary focuses for 2025. And I feel that I worked and nurtured my relationship with God privately. In the beginning, I was very vocal about my religious beliefs and what that meant to me, and I posted on social media. And after a while, I felt like that relationship has always been something that I've nurtured privately. And even though I wanted to bring my testimony and what God had done for me and share that with the people around me or on social media, I felt it wasn't a place, social media wasn't a place for me to nurture that relationship with God. It definitely felt more aligned with myself to nurture my relationship with God privately. I never want to come across as someone that is telling people what they should believe or what they must believe. I wasn't raised like that. Going to church, my church taught me, or the teachings I learned at church was, you are sharing your testimony and what God has done for you, but don't do this when it comes to religious beliefs. And I don't believe in speaking at people about my testimony and what I had experienced and what God had done for me. I believe in sharing that because that's my lived experience. And so I felt that during 2025, I wanted to work on my relationship with God privately for sure. And also, if someone was open to hearing my testimony and hearing my experience and what God had done for me, then that was something that I was going to share with them. And so, in that regard, I feel like it's a work in progress and it will always be. And I feel like I can always improve, but in the same breath, I do feel like deciding to nurture my relationship with God privately definitely aligned with my self. The other in was, my phone is now locked. Just living in peace, living in the peace I've been graced with. This is such a broad point now that I'm reflecting on it. The surroundings that I currently live in is definitely peaceful, but this is not what I think I meant at the beginning of Jan. It's more a centered, clear peace that lives with inside myself, and it's something that didn't come easily. It was something I had to work on. And during 2025, there was chaotic moments, of course, and there was also chaos inside of me. So it was a work in progress. Did I manage to find a sense of balance where that's concerned? Yeah, I think so. For the most part, where I am right now, yes, I have peace within my heart and my soul, and it brings me joy. The other in was, I think it was movement or body movement. I think it was that. Give me a second. Wellness movement. There are positives and negatives to this point because I want to start Pilates classes and yoga classes. I've always been a yogi, So that was something that I definitely was looking forward to do in 2025. Did I join any classes? No. No, I did not. I did not join any classes. I did not. I seeked out classes. But did I join them? No. No, I did not. So that is something that I definitely have to work on in 2026. From a positive perspective, I started walking and running. And from a walking perspective, my goal on a daily basis is to reach 5,000 steps. Do I reach 5,000 steps every day? Did I? No, I did not reach 5,000 steps every day. I think by average it was between, not every day, because there were days where I obviously reached 5,000 steps, but my weekly average was between 3 and 4,000 steps a day. The other movement I started doing was running, and I run for me. I do not run for medals, or I don't do marathons. I'm not in that lane. I'm in my own lane, and I'm doing it for the love of doing it because it's a part of who I am. And I go out for runs, I can't say every week, maybe every second week. I go out for runs. In the beginning, I ran twice a week, and now I've upgraded my walking versus my running because I enjoy the walking more. And when I started the journey, I always wanted to do things that felt naturally good for me and not force myself to do things that I didn't like. And it's not that I don't want to push myself out of my comfort zone, it's more a case of when it comes to exercise and physical movement, I want to enjoy it. I want it to be a happy, positive experience for me, and that is why I will teeter between running and walking. And who knows, maybe this year I will run more than what I walk. When it comes to the nutrients that I put in my body, for the most part in 2025, I was very good. I haven't had any junk food past my lips since 2024. Like, I haven't had McDonald's, I haven't had KFC, I haven't had any of those meals. I've predominantly have been eating at home and eating home meals. And for the most part, it is because of being diagnosed with diabetes too, which I will touch on in this vlog as well. Out and about, I definitely am cognizant of the food choices that I choose. Do I have cheat days? Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? I was very conscious and am still very conscious of the nutrients that I put in my body. I do have off days. I think it is healthy to have off days. There's eating clean, and then there is enjoying what is it you are consuming, as long as there's moderation with the off days. I think then it works. So from that perspective, yeah, I will admit that I was a bit bad over Christmas. This, I think, is a really big step because one of my biggest goals in 2025 was going into remission. If you don't know and you're new to my channel, the day before coming to the UK, I was diagnosed with diabetes too. And since arriving in the UK, it has been a goal of mine to go into remission. I unfortunately got the news in November last year that I did not go into remission. I was so close, like 4% away of going into remission. And I think in the last bit of it, I might have gotten overconfident. I don't know. I might have thought I've got this in the bag, and that was definitely an overconfident thing, I think. And I'd slipped, and I had failed at that. So if I were to rate it out of 10, the nutrients consumption, I would say I'd give myself a 7 for sure. Yeah, I'd give myself a 7, and there definitely is room for improvement. And that is something I think that I should add to my pondering list for 2026. My main focal point for 2025 was to be present. I spent 6 to 7 years overwhelmed. When I started my one boutique store business in Cape Town, In the beginning, when you're starting a business, things aren't as busy and you aren't as busy. And so for the first year, it was relatively good. And then as we had built the business, moving towards annual growth and pivoting on an annual basis, it started to get busy. And for a large part of my One Boutique store journey, which I'll touch on at some point in the future, I felt overwhelmed a lot of the time. And I felt like if I look back now, I can't remember a lot of what happened over those years. And so going into 2025, it was extremely important to me to be present, to when I'm having a conversation, to give that individual my attention, to have the individual's attention and be present in the moment. So much so that summer last year, from June, July, August, I actually spent the summer offline. I took minimal videos, minimal photos. There's one or two photos I took, I'll add it up here. I think I posted that on Instagram. But I didn't film anything for YouTube. I wanted to be present in 2025, so much so that I wanted to just embrace summer as it was in its pure form. So I feel like I did definitely think of that goal for sure. I actually am thinking I want to start with taking down these decorations. So let's get started on that. The house and the space is now clear of Christmas, and even though I'm going to miss all the Christmas trimmings because I'm a true lover of Christmas, it feels nice to have the space refreshed. It feels a bit empty, I will admit, but it does feel nice to have the space refreshed. I actually have to get a sideboard for the space behind me, and that is 2026 to-do list, or on the 2026 to-do list for sure. I also wanted to touch on the news we got on Christmas. I think as an expat and fellow expats out there will definitely be able to relate. Receiving sad news from home, especially over the Christmas period, is not easy. It's also news that I don't think any expat wants to receive. And so Eric got news that his grandma unfortunately left us and he had to say goodbye to her. And being this far away from family, receiving that news isn't easy. It's difficult in itself, and being this far away from family during a time like this is extremely difficult as well. I will definitely hold the fond memories we have of her dear, and I'm thankful that we got to spend the time that we did with her, and yeah, grateful that we were able to spend that time and that we were gifted that time. And I think when one loses a family member, that it definitely encourages you to do inventory of your life and to definitely reflect on your life and what's important in life. And yeah, that's definitely something I think that we've been doing and that we will be doing. So yeah, not to end the vlog on a somber note, but this is real life, and this is what happens in life, and it's a part of life. And if we don't talk about it and pretend like things like this don't happen, then are we really being authentic and true? So yeah, I'm sharing that because I'm sure that there are other people that are experiencing or have experienced something similar, and you are not alone, and it is challenging, but we all will get through it in the end. On a more positive note, I think this month I'm going to hibernate and truly embrace the English countryside's way of dealing with the second month of winter. So I'm going to be hibernating, going to be resetting, and really going to be pondering on what 2026 goals I have and what I would like to focus on, given the news I've just shared with you. So yeah, that's definitely on the agenda for me. And if you enjoyed this video and enjoyed tidying up with me, please give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one.